kind of weird that I have actual stalker detractor haters who make it a point to go through everything I post and thumbs down it. Like, I don't understand that even a little bit. I don't even say anything controversial except for against the religious people, which I guess they take it very personally that God's not real, and that's kind of goofy, if you ask me. Oh, I'm sharing my screen right now. Not a fan of that. Get rid of these things here. I'm gonna turn off the screen sharing. I don't want to do that right now. I'm not doing anything cool or fun. Boop. There's that. Ah. Aluminum. Um. Yeah. Hello. Kind of weird. Yeah. That people will hate on a homeless destitute person for being homeless and destitute. What is kind of, but they do it anonymously. They have to, you know. It it takes cojones to be a hater with your chest out, and most people don't even have that. That's all I got. That's all I am. That my whole existence boils down to fucking cojones. Anytime I've succeeded, it just comes down to I had the I had the audacity to try. It's and you should too. If there's a thing you're like second guessing, you should get over that and just do it. Because if you fail and you're not a complete moron, you'll learn something. You know, because you're going to fail unless you're me, who seems to just succeed at just about everything I try, and I'm on that Goodwill Hunting shit. Except I kind of gave up a long time ago about the trying. What's the point, you know? Uh, with my finances entirely out of order, my family completely out of order, and my family being the only thing I care about, like what? Why would I? No, not that one. I want this one. No, yeah, gotta move that. It's the middle. How do I get to the middle? Yeah, what's my screen resolution again? It's probably 1920 by 1280. And what's half of 1920? It's 810, right? 8. Oh, that's the uppy downy one. Uppy downy. So we're doing lefty righty. We gotta. Oh, that's strange. There's no way to actually center that. That's as good as it gets. It's 1 pixel to the left. If I put it 1 pixel to the right, it'll be 1 pixel to the right. There's no middle ground for that. Kind of strange. Hello. Yeah, I just want to see if I have any chatters or join the conversation. Let me. Um, yeah, I broke my phone. Oh no. Was that the good one? No, it's fucking. Yeah, alright. Hello, world. How are you? We made it. We're here. Um, yeah, so like the more I learn, the more I wouldn't say depressed I get, but the more discouraged I get because it's like we are not gonna be able to space travel. I was just watching Angela Collier, and it turns out that we're not gonna be having freaking warp drives or interstellar communications uh, and that's another thing is like why should I do anything when there's people doing it? There's already people doing the things. What the fuck? Nobody needs me, you know. And I've let myself become kind of an idiot. It's more that's why I'm a comedian. It's more fun that way. It's just so much more fun to be stupid. Um, but I'm not actually stupid, so I'm not like the blissful kind of individual. I'm not a very joyful individual. I can make things fun, but it's all just it's bullshit, you know. Um, that's the thing is like I don't these people all the fun stuff is bullshit like fucking ghosts and religion and spirits and astrology. It's you have to be like a mega moron to buy into anything that's fun. Except, see, I like, man, I used to like video games a lot, and I still like the video games that I like, but all of the media, including books and movies, and it's all garbage. The guy I live with listens to these audio books all the time, and I have to listen to them uh, because he plays it on maximum volume. And it's just it's the worst story building and writing and sentence structure that I've ever heard in my life. And this guy pays money for it, and it's weird. And then I'm like, yeah, why don't I just write some bullshit fucking audiobooks and just scam people out of money? And I can't bring myself to do that, you know. I have to. I'm an honest individual, and I can't help myself from being that. Um, I wish I could see the live chat, but as I mentioned, I broke my phone. I get I I play Clash Royale, and it's the same nonsense over and over again. And these people, they're not smart. You can tell that they just watch like a YouTube video and copy the deck, and then pay money to get better stuff. And it's like their matchmaking system is garbage. You know, it's always putting me against people that have higher level stuff, and it used to be a lot of fun. That's nothing's really enjoyable. It's all just a fucking money grab. Which I know it's like, oh, but Brandon, you're on here begging all the time. You're the money grab. It's like, well, yeah, but I'm doing it to stay alive and mildly stay afloat. I don't live like an extravagant life. I just need a little bit of money to exist. I've minimized my costs to to just fucking decimated, you know. And then it affects your self-worth and all that, and it's like, I don't know. It's all stupid. And it doesn't have to be all stupid. It doesn't have to all be a cash grab. We could all flourish and be happy, but oh, life is catered to the greedy people, the people who just are greedy and lie. are the most successful. It's real easy to succeed at greed. It's real easy to win at lying because you know you have to be a really crappy person to just assume people are lying all the time. Which I know that because that's me. I'm way beyond cynical. I just know people are full of shit, and that prevents me from making friends, and because I don't just I don't just let people lie to my face. I speak up and say something and go, "You're a fucking liar," and then they get all weird because they're narcissists. 'Cause you got to be a narcissist to lie as an adult. You know what I mean? But yeah, this is coming to an end soon. This whole situation is I tried my best for like a week to panhandle, which I'm better at panhandling than flying a sign apparently. That the sign netted me a total of $24. Fucking I got at least $100 in a week, but you got to eat food every day. Everything's getting more expensive, and without the one thing, I'm basically going insane. So like, yeah, and then the Clash Royale just being unfair, and I can't just turn it off. I gotta fucking win. And so I smashed my phone because I get angry. I get angry. I get super fucking angry. And I smash phones. This is the third phone I've smashed in 2 years. Um, because and it's not even the phone's fault. Sometimes it is, but the game. So the game cheats too. Clash Royale, it'll fucking lag out at the weirdest times, just like it, because it's a timing game, and it used to be a real time strategy game, but now it's just a real time spender game. And if you don't spend, which I don't, I haven't spent $1 on Clash Royale in like 5 years, and so I'm way behind on that. But you have to spend money to keep up because people out there spending money to win. And is that really winning? I don't think so. I don't believe that it is. I think that's shortcut, aka cheating. But that's the way everything's geared now is to make everyone feel valid and like they have a shot. You have to cheat. Because you have to bullshit to make everyone feel valid because everyone's not valid. In fact, most people are. I don't even have the word for it, but it's just because they're not useless. I mean, the world needs factory workers, but they're not bright people. They're not astute. They can't strategize on their own. They can't think for themselves. And it's kind of sad. Like something like 60% of people are functionally illiterate. Like they can read the words, but they can't comprehend the concepts, and it's weird. Weird, 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 weird. All this education that people get, and they'd rather ignore it than embrace it. And people like me that would I'd murder like 10 people at least to have a shot at some kind of master's degree in mathematics because I'm very good at math, and those might be my kids. If you're up on the lore, then that makes sense to you. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But it's not that I'm an ingrate. like I understand that I have gifts. I am a rather good-looking, shapely individual with a good head on his shoulders, and I just honestly, dude, I'd prefer to be a bum than to participate in this society that rewards greedy people and mob mentality. It's strange, and I don't know. I'm an ideologue. I'm an idealistic person, and that's I don't know how to stop being that. Like I have high standards. I have expectations, I guess, of people, you know. And for the most part, it's I mean most no, not most, because 90% of people will walk by someone just dying on a curb. They'll step right over them. Be like, ah, no, I'll drive right by them. Not my problem, you know. But some people are just so good that they'll help anyone and they'll try. But there's a lot of people out there that are like, well, man, I gave you $40 3 weeks ago. How come you didn't straighten? I said this all before too. It's all kind of repetitive, but what else am I supposed to think about besides how to better my circumstances? Like what else should be going through my mind? You know, because I'm not an idiot. $20 an hour nowadays isn't even enough to exist, and most jobs won't even pay that. And it's so I'm not gonna let these people extract my time as well as my money and the little bit that I have. It all goes to people that don't need it. Like, it's crazy. Walmart, Amazon, Google. People don't need my money, but they demand it to partake in their services, like eating food. You know, to eat food, you have to have money, and like it's so expensive because you gotta pay for workers to be there and stock the shelves and this and that. And it's so weird to me. And so the thought that I've been having, right? Because I'm trying to rationalize around what this is, what's going on, and people, even with the selfish motivation of a good paying job, right? Most people are not diligent. Most people are not thorough people that care about their jobs, even when they get paid good money. Um, so I understand how communism not and real socialism isn't ever going to work because if people aren't going to do their jobs well now, why would they do it well just because? And that's where that breaks my heart. That really breaks my heart that people just don't care about what they're putting out into the world. Cause I care, you know. You would I I have to actively dissuade myself from giving a crap because it breaks my heart to see the world the way that it is. I don't know. And I get it because there's people out there that'll just fake it to get drugs like meth, and it's just fuck those people, you know. But I've genuinely been homeless since I was 17, and you would be hard pressed to find anyone who could earnestly uh, combat that claim. It's sure I've been inside a few times here and there with people, but that doesn't make one not homeless. I don't. What do you? what do you think homeless is? Because to me, it's someone who doesn't have a home. And then you got to go into the definition of what a home is. I've said it wrong. I thought it was Laszlo's hierarchy of needs because of the Cartoon Network show, the Laszlo's friends and crap. But it's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I've never had that met, so I don't understand. I don't know. Weird. Um, Thanks for being here. If there's anyone here, but it just says it's me. It's me here. Nobody else. Oh, there's the live chat. I found it. Oh shit, what's up, gang? I don't know. I had to turn the white balance into a crazy direction that makes my teeth look really bad, which they are. They're really bad. I've When you're in this position, uh, you don't get the opportunity to brush your teeth and shower all the time, and so I just made it a part of my routine to not do those things. Fucking what's the point? It's not like I have a job to go to or people to interact with. So what's the fucking point? Don't make sense to me. I'd rather be by myself anyway. Unless you're like a rather spectacular individual, which, let's be real, you're probably not. Which is which is fine. So that's another thing, is that like the religious people want to be like, nobody's perfect, everyone's a sinner. And I don't believe in that. I think we are perfect. I think much along the lines of Robert Sapolsky that it couldn't be any other way. The way that it is the way that it is the only way it could be. And what's more perfect than unavoidable? You can't what's more perfect than that? I don't know. I'm very sleepy. Um I haven't been getting proper nutrition. I haven't been getting proper sleep. It's just fucking stressful. I don't know what to do. I don't know if it even fucking matters what I do, because it seems like the results are the same regardless. But oh, hello. Thanks for being here so early. Good to see you. Just talking to myself. I guess video journaling, captain's log type shit. Talking, trying to make sense of the world and the way people conduct themselves, and tough, tough to do that. They probably won't. That's a waste of energy to hope that, you know. And yeah, I would also argue is that the only thing that could make anything better is if I had my kid. Other than that, everything's fine. I'm not in any imminent danger currently, so there's that. I got a Gamers Nexus thing going on over here where they're talking about how AMD's getting sued, and that's strange to me because I would think Nvidia would get sued way before AMD. But then it makes me think back to the early 2000s when you actually had options for in chip manufacturers, and now it's just AMD and Nvidia, and that's it. I mean, I was an AMD fanboy for a long time anyway. I mean, Intel, I guess, is trying their best to stay in the game, but and they're too big to fail. So IBM's gonna IBM, you know. Well, Intel, IBM Intel is the same thing because the Intel chips go inside the IBM computers. Is how that started. Um, but there used to be like Cyrax and this and that. But you can't, especially with these tariffs that I guess are getting canceled. Oh, is the tech bubble bursting? Um, no, I would say no. I would say it's not. It's 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 streamlining. It's becoming monopolized, and you have to utilize technology basically to exist in this world at all. Uh, unless you live on a commune, you need some kind of technology, some kind of microchips are going to be within 5 feet of your body always. If you want to participate in society on even the most minor level, you need some kind of technology device. Especially if you're in, I mean, in the city, you can live without any. You don't need a car. You don't need a cell phone. You can really just communicate with people straight to their face. But if you live out in a rural area, you can't do nothing without technology. Can't coordinate with other people to make things happen. And I mean, for the longest time, I was only on Facebook so I could promote my comedy and try to reach out to people. But now I do YouTube for that because I got banned from Facebook like 10 times. And now it's a cesspool of just right wing AI bots, just garbage, garbage, garbage. And YouTube's headed that way with the AI and the bots, and it's disgusting. People feigning creativity, and then what they don't realize is the future of, if you're gonna end up with these language models and feeding themselves garbage, and so it's just gonna degenerate. It's not gonna get better. And then now that they have the I guess ChatGPT is out there convincing people to off themselves and others now, and that's not cool. Like, especially because some like 30% of the time it's actually some guy in India typing back at you and not actually hitting the language models because they have to keep a quota. And then how much energy these language models take to do what? To do it's they don't actually do anything special. These AIs, it's kind of weird, especially not for what kind of resources they suck up. Yeah, exactly. Because that's it. Because all AI can learn from is what's exists, and if everything that exists is written by AI, it's exactly that. None of you need the human touch. You need people, but it's all intentional too. The individualized little pockets of life that exist is everyone thinks they're the best at everything, and so they have they're like, oh, I have the best ideas, so I'm gonna use AI to flesh my ideas out, and it's kind of it's you've seen what's out there with the content and the voices, and I don't know. I like real people doing real things, even if it's not good. Like nobody starts good. You have to fail and practice and get good. But I just I guess people just ain't built like that anymore. They'd rather, and I get it, because I would rather not participate. So I fully understand. But I mean, I do still participate. Look, I'm trying. I'm trying to participate and reach out to people, and but I'm very particular, and because I don't have money, that makes me crazy. If I had money, I'd be eccentric, but I don't have money, so I'm an insane person who's not even worth listening to. Thanks for joining me. Appreciate you. I don't get a whole lot of. I mean, sometimes I do, but and that's another thing is I'll sit here and like beg for feedback, like tell me what I'm doing wrong, people, and nobody chimes in. They're like, no, keep doing your thing, man. Yeah, it's gonna work out. Like this lady the other day said to me, she's like, "Oh, you got a bright future." I was like, I can't even hold back a laugh because it's like you're full of shit. No, I don't. Like even a little bit. What is this? Thanks. I did say thank you because I understand that the sentiment was there, and they're you know they genuinely meant it. They thought they were doing a good thing, and so I appealed to that and said thank you. But it was after I laughed because is I don't see it. I don't see how it's gonna happen. Not without like a vehicle or that's what I need is a vehicle because with a vehicle I could pull up on comedy clubs and set up shows or pull up on bars and set up shows. But on foot, it ain't gonna happen like that. Not where I'm at now, and not with the warrants I got. I can't even. Being outside is illegal, and it's all a crazy bogus case too. Because I let a rental agreement for a vehicle lapse, and so they charge people with with stolen car, and I fight cops. So when that happened, I fought the cops, and now I have to deal with the assault on a police officer felony. And then I already signed the paperwork, and then the judges kept continuing the date to just accept the paperwork that I already signed, and it's I don't know. They think I'm gonna power struggle with them, and I know who's in charge. I know what the deal is. I know I don't have any authority. But fuck them still. At the end of the day, with everything in my body, fuck them and the society that they stand for. And it's as you guys know, it's mostly religious people masquerading to maintain levels of control so they could tell gay people that they're bad and that trans people shouldn't exist. Stupid. Stupid, stupid. And I commend trans people because it takes levels of bravery and dedication to freedom of self-expression, which is supposed to be the first rule of this country, but you see what happens. You see what happens. People aren't even allowed to express themselves how they want to, and so it that from there, it's logical to state it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. So why partake? Like why play their games? Why play their fucking games? Why beg at churches and government for assistance? That's what they want. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just not gonna do it. Oh, well then that's your choice, man. That's your ego, that's your pride. That's all I got. That's all I got. My dignity. And I'm not playing these fucking games with these people. It's absolutely ridiculous. And the as far as so all of it from the bottom up, prisons, cops, judges, lawyers, it's all a money making. It creates jobs. It's the economy, and then so now they're saying AI is going to replace most paralegals because what do they do besides look up laws, and a language model's built to do exactly that. So it's weird, and it's their economy. They're destroying their economy. If we save money on this and that, yeah, then you leave people out on the streets, like the people that you need. What? Yeah, but then we just put them in jail. It's like, yeah, but that only works to a certain percentage. Once you get to a certain percentage of people that are in jail or on government assistance, you don't have an economy anymore. What's ridiculous? What did I say that's ridiculous? Or are you just agreeing with what I said? Because I'm just talking about how ridiculous everything is. And it's a part of me suspects that if they did institute universal basic income, they would just do the math on rent, food, and healthcare to where that's everything anyway. You don't, which would be cool. I mean, if that was the minimum, if that was the bare minimum, if that was bare bones, I think I'd be a lot happier. But I have to subjugate myself to in order to even be indoors to someone else's rules and existence, and that's weird to me. I lived in group homes growing up, and I don't like that. I ain't no slave and I ain't no bitch, and that's what people want to treat everyone like, rather than a human being deserving of respect. They'd rather not. They just talk to them. It's like I don't know. The amount of text messages that this person ignores from me is just this is weird. It's outrageous. But what trying to talk about is just gonna get me put out. So I don't know. Happy Friday. Oh, and they're making hemp and CBD illegal federally, and senators get paid more than teachers. Wild stuff. And as long as that's what's happening, as long as senators get paid more than teachers because they're the ruling class who were groomed to be senators, it nothing's going to change. We teachers need to get paid more than anyone, so that way they could really educate. But then again, I've been through that system too, and creative thinking is not rewarded. Critical thinking is not rewarded or encouraged. It's just regurgitate. And if you think outside, if you or if you're rather astute and pick up on the fact that it's not an education but memorization, uh, and yeah, when you get into like college stuff, if you have money to get into like a real college, that's where the juices start flowing, and you're able to express yourself a little more, and uh, critical thinking is moderately rewarded, and you get attention. But I don't know. My teachers, my instructors, they weren't professors, they were instructors. I went to a technical school, but they were all fucking losers. Like, and I hate to say that, but nobody who's winning at the game decides to teach at a fraction of the cost, you know. And when I was in ITT Tech, I had Google Chrome stolen from me by a former Google employee, and the guy's a weasel. And because I sent it to him to ask him, I'm proud of my work. I said, look what I did. And then he stole it, and now it's the #1 web browser, and that took a lot out of me, seeing how the world really functions. And that's why I don't do anything open source anymore, is because you know what happens is if you make a successful open source program, uh, the the people who are greedy just steal it and then they sell it because they have the distribution and the attention to be able to profit off of it, which I've never felt right profiting off of anything. I don't, it, but for someone else to profit off of my work is even more disgusting to me, and that's why I don't. All these jobs are bullshit. It is someone else is making more money than me, and I'm doing the work. And so, and then when you want to get into a creative outlet, you have to do the work first, and then maybe get paid somewhere down the road. And to me, that's I don't know. I don't know. None of this makes sense. None of it makes sense to me. Oh, and then sexism, right? You can't be a stay-at-home dad. You can't. That's not a thing. You gotta be. You gotta make a baby with someone rather spectacular to work that out. But I don't know. Everything's got to be the Christian way, the Abrahamic way of the man's the provider, the man's the go getter. Well, I went and got it. It wasn't enough. Watching cathode ray dude on the TV. He's an interesting character. I like him. But to make that kind of content, you have to have some kind of money to be able to buy and demonstrate the products. Which oh, I'm not watching this one. I know plenty about POSs. I've set up so many POS systems in my lifetime. Yeah, nothing's good anymore. The games aren't good anymore. Movies aren't good anymore. Books aren't. The Hunger Games was pretty good. That's fairly recent, within the last not even decade, but 15 years, and And then when I watch the Hunger Games, it's like President Snow, Donald Trump, very close, very close. And so and then we can't even get any actual unity to fight what's happening to us. Just people are weird. And then because I have a dry and sarcastic sense of humor, probably. But then because I have a sarcastic, dry sense of humor, I'm not welcome in any community because it's often misunderstood. Probably President Snow and Donald. Yeah, he's a cornball. I don't know. And then so that leads me to the thought of what people value, and it's fucking it's sex. Like 80 something like 85% of people fake a whole personality in existence just to get sex, and it's weird to me. Or they'll buy sex, like they'll literally pay for it, but then pretend like they're dating the person. And it's like, I don't know. Yeah, they call it dates and stuff now too. It's just weird. Not that and again, I have nothing against sex work, except for all work under capitalism is coerced. My mother was a whore. My grandmother was a whore. That's not. But you start thinking of the experiences in psychology that goes behind most sex work, and it's like even without capitalism, it's still kind of coerced. These people are groomed for that. Uh, and most people, when money's on the line, they'll walk whatever tightrope you put in front of them. People have no scruples anymore, no values. That go right, but like I was saying earlier, the things that people value are just weird. Especially the people who value money over everything else. It's like we live in a fiat system and that the money's worthless, right? Like literally, it's just a note, like a little marker. It's not real. It's not based on anything. It's like, yeah, well, that makes it so everyone can have their own. If you like the gold standard, you could just buy gold, right? Probably fucking. It's funny. But then that whole thing where it's like if Putin had a photograph of Donald Trump blowing a guy, that would have been released his first term, just because Putin's like that. Putin's that kind of guy. They made gay and black people 100% illegal in Russia. So if Donald Trump was getting his dick sucked by a man or sucking some dude off, Putin would have been released that. It would have been. It would have. And now, even if I see the video, even if I see the video or the photograph, it's probably AI. It's probably invented. Unless I see Putin holding a Polaroid, I don't buy it. I just don't buy it. Phones. I already watched that one. The scanners. I just got done watching a bunch of Angela Collier, but you can only watch like so many hours of that before it just starts sounding like nonsense. Physics and stuff. Because we're at that point where it's just theoretical, and we're everyone wants to be the next Einstein and come up with a new idea or new theory. And as it's funny because like the big claim is that uh relativism doesn't apply to the quantum level, but it seems that the more research they do, that it actually does. With because I was just watching Angela Collier do matter and antimatter. It turns out that it's it does apply. It's just so minuscule at that point. And string theory's basically been debunked like 900 times over. I don't know. I need pot so I could sleep. And honestly, I think Bill Clinton's too good for Donald Trump. I don't see any circumstance where Bill Clinton, if he was banging Monica Lewinsky, if I was banging Monica Lewinsky, Donald Trump's not getting anywhere near my penis. I don't know. They're just, they're just not on the same level. Like Monica Lewinsky was hot, not like not the hottest woman alive, but she definitely qualifies as hot. Oh, that happened to me the other day. So I was sitting in front of the convenience store gas station place, and a homeless drunk lady by the name of M came over talking about she just set all her boyfriend's stuff on fire, and and she was talking about how he had told her that he found someone more beautiful, and I'm like, that's just such a shitty way to view the world. Is to Nobody's more beautiful than anyone. Everyone's got beauty, and everyone's got anti-beauty. People, if you want someone to be disgusting, just stare at them long enough. If you want someone to be beautiful, you just stare at them long enough. You'll find it. Whatever you're looking for, it's in there. I promise. If you're the kind of person that's looking for the beauty in the world, you're gonna see the beauty in the world. And if you're the kind of person looking for something to bitch about all the time, you're gonna find something to bitch about all the time. I don't. Yeah, white balance is way off on this thing. I don't know. I don't really care too much either. Sorry. I wish I cared more. but I can't do it. I just can't do it. Oh, that's a playlist of stuff I've probably already seen. Life's weird. At least it ends. That's good. I would be so pissed if there's an afterlife, regardless. From it, even if I go, I'm still gonna be pissed. I uh, I tried to hang myself in a hotel room once and failed, and woke up madder than I've ever been. Like, what do you do about that? I don't know. That was when I was doing rather well. Like it's my self-worth does not tie into material success. It doesn't. I don't know. I was doing rather well, and I got sick of not seeing my kid, and I don't see any avenue where that's going to be possible. That's the only thing I actually am invested in and give a shit about is being a father to my kid, and I'm not allowed to do that. Not like legally or anything. There's no like legal order stopping me. I'm not a creep or weirdo or anything like that. And if my kid's mother could by any means get a judgment against me, she would, just out of spite, because she's one of them kind of people. But same thing with the cops. If they could put me in jail for the rest of my life, they would. But I haven't done anything worthy of that. And I don't know. Just because I talk shit, people don't like the truth. People want to live in their own little delusional bubbles, which goes back to the individualism that's been forced upon us. It's and it's not even their fault because everything's just so mathematically predetermined that who even has time or energy to give a shit about the next man? Really? Like, because our people they sell us this idea like the pioneers and the whatnot. Oh, they worked more than 40 hours a week. You know what it takes to, yeah. But but they're actually they have tangible results when you work 16 hours a day ripping logs out of the ground to make a house for you and your wife and kids. Then you have a house for you and your wife and kids. But all this stuff it's fake. The economy is fake from the bottom up. To create jobs, and it's well, we got to send the demolition guys to knock down the building so that the builder guys can put a building up. What? What did you just say to me? And then you go look at any strip mall. The stores change every like 5 or 6 years. What up, Hurricane? I don't know how you stay so cheerful, but that's because you just be zoning out. You stay on that live. You create different avenues and just zone out and speak what's in your heart. And anytime I do that, I get banned. I get banned from every fucking thing. I get kicked out, banned, harassed, assaulted. And I think it's funny. And when you laugh at people when they're trying to hurt you, they try even harder to hurt you. And then when they can't hurt you, they start hurting themselves. And I laugh at that too. Because it's stupid. Oh, Hurricane is the horniest man on the internet. I'm just gonna put that out there. 'Cause I love you, man. I do. Man, you a horny ass fool, bruh. I bet, I bet you've gone to some real dark places for some pussy, bruh. No offense. Again, much love to you and everything that you do, your music, all that. But she's married. She got a husband, or she's married. I don't know that it's a husband, but I know that she's married. So you ain't gonna get very far with that one, brother. She cool chick though. She's very smart, very determined. She does a live stream every day at 9 a.m. Eastern time on the Daily Atheist. You might want to check it out, but you probably won't because you're one of those spiritualist folks, a believer, but you never came down on me for for anything that I say against believers, so you might enjoy the stream. I just think it's silly. It's a coping mechanism at best. People have vetted God so they could have somebody to blame. Thanks for joining me. Appreciate that. I hate when people expect me to be funny all fucking time because I'm a comedian. It's like, no, I'm funny when I'm on stage or in in passing very lightly. I'll be funny. I can't even turn this up too loud because then it'll play through and I'll get copyright strikes and shit. But I haven't been on here in a while, so I wanted to jump on, let everyone know I did not do the thing yet. Let my kid know I am still accessible at her will. Let the haters know they can suck it. Yo, oh, that's what it was. Yeah, man. I was checking out my YouTube stats, and bro, I got actual like haters, like people who jump on my shit is just to hit the thumbs down. Like, what is that? How you gonna hate? How you gonna hate a homeless person for being homeless? What is that? They're not just giving homes away. Especially not to people like me. You don't know what I'll do in it. I'll be in that home sleeping 16 hours a day. Just waiting for something to happen. Like in that movie Stranger Than Fiction, he's the it's not De Niro. Who's that guy? Not Robert Downey Jr. I'm gonna look it up. I got the whole internet right here. I'm just sleepy. Um, Dustin Hoffman. Dustin Hoffman played played Raymond. No. Raymond was Tom Cruise. But yeah, Dustin Hoffman told Will Ferrell, just sit there and wait and see if something happens. That would be me. Hurricane, what's your favorite movies, dog? Oh, welcome back. Do you have favorite movies, Ms. Ryan? Cause I'm a weird person. I like What Dreams May Come by Robin Williams, great comedian. I like Strangers in Fiction with Will Ferrell, great comedian. I like it when comedians do serious movies like Jim Carrey and The Truman Show. Those are my probably top five. They're definitely in my top five, all three of them. And then the movies I watch the most is The Matrix and The Hunger Games, just because those are my sensory movies. They make my nervous system feel good. They justify all my thoughts, which I don't know. I had foundational beliefs before those movies even existed that they just kind of aligned with. So I can't say that they're like even my favorite movies, but they're my comfort movies. If I'm ever just trying to just chill out, The Matrix and The Hunger Games, I'll watch I'll watch those. They make me calm because I know what to expect. I can do The Matrix line for line from beginning to end. I can do Dumb and Dumber line for line from beginning to end too. Jurassic Park. Oh, that was a formative movie. That came out when I was like 6 years old, and I love that. But it just doesn't hold up. None of the dinosaurs have feathers, and they should. you know. That's got Bill, what's his name, right? No? No, that's Sam Neill. I thought that was Bill Pullman. Yeah, I grew up, I thought I was Gen X my whole life. You know, I remember like 2010, 11, 12 when it was the coolest thing in the world was dumping on millennials. I was on that train. I was like, yeah, millennials, huh? Always trying to do retro stuff. And there I was thinking I'm Gen X, trying to do retro stuff, being exactly a millennial. Like what? Oops. Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing is like, yeah, you watch the first few the first two were great. The third one was all right, but then the Jurassic World stuff, it's like, it's, I don't know. I'd rather see a reboot than whatever's going on with Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt's a sex offender. Chris Pratt. So Everwood was one of my shows watch that I used to watch in high school, and he was doing sex to the sister. Like, yeah, I mean, I know they only play. To me, that's still weird though. Even though they played brother and sister, and then she was a teenager and he was in his 20s, and that dynamic's not cool. And then she kind of fell off too. I haven't seen her in anything since she was the star of that Revenge. I think it was Revenge show. Yeah, 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 yeah. So Everwood, he was a brother to this girl whose boyfriend was in a coma, and I guess Offset, they were banging, and they were not supposed to be banging because she was like 16. Look that up. But he's a religious guy, so like that's their thing. That's what they do. And because on you they same thing with probably DiCaprio there. I bet he's a religious guy because they can only trick people of a certain age into thinking that they have a personality. Yep, and it's always the religious people. And I hate to say, Anthony Kiedis of the Red Hot Chili Peppers is kind of a creep, especially knowing that he's got the hepatitis and he's still out there trying to get young women. Like, come on, dude. What do you just take your hepatitis somewhere else, bro? What are you doing? And I mean, I still got mad respect for him because he was on dope and he quit cold turkey because his drummer died, and that's deserving of some respect. And I love their music, but again, he's a spiritualist, like a religious spiritualist, and always trying to bang 16-year-old girls. He even made a song about it. Weird. Is Leonardo DiCaprio religious? I bet he is too. Probably a Scientologist. Oh, he identifies agnostic. Oh, but he references a higher power, supreme being. So yeah, yep. but he didn't go as deep as his co-star did in that show, Growing Pains. That other guy went fucking. He's with Ray Comfort all the time. With DiCaprio, yeah, it's it. I mean, I watched What's Eating Gilbert Grape because he was a kid in that one, so you can't be mad at him for that one. But Wolf of Wall Street, I watched that one time. Everybody raved about it, and I was like, it's glorifying all the worst things. And then the guy gets off scot free at the end. Like what? Ends up, and in real life, the guy is a consultant and rich as fuck. Like that's yeah, it's the society's disgusting. It's really just disgusting. The greedy people win. You have to be a greedy piece of shit to succeed. Kirk Cameron, right? Yeah, that guy. He's a fucking goofball. But I mean, and then so they do all these little tricks and stuff because Kirk Cameron to this day looks like the Kirk Cameron that was on Growing Pains. You got to give credit where credit's due. The motherfucker stayed young forever, but he's still Kirk Cameron. That sucks. And I mean, he did give up, but then again, he's still probably rich. He's making mad dough off of that religious grind. And if he wasn't, he wouldn't be doing it. And that's what bothers me is he's never grown up. Right? Yeah, he never matured physically or mentally. He's the exact nothing. That's the thing about religion is that it traps you into it. You can't grow. It's forbidden to grow at all. But that's another thing I would never do is I'm never gonna be the hair dye guy. Uh, Never gonna do skincare, anything like that. It's that stuff's goofy to me because it perpetuates the that horrible thing that Chris Pratt did is and the I kind of well there's you gotta hold on to that childishness, you know, and that wonderment and delight that comes with the immature attitude. You got to have some of that, you know, because those some people are just way too freaking serious. But at the same time, like you got to find the balance. You can't just stay stuck in that childlike mindset forever. And I had to mature young. I had like real young. I had to grow up and be a man since I was like 8 or 9 years old. I've had to because my dad, my dad was a worse bum than me because he lived in the projects off of the fact that he had me and then treated me like shit, locked me out of my own room, put his girlfriend stuff in there. And if I had the maturity and understanding that I have now, that whole house was mine. Like he wouldn't have been. Uh, and then the motherfucker. So I went to group homes because he was punching me in the head like I was a grown man. Uh, and then I went into group homes, and when I came out of the group homes at almost 14, uh, he was living in my grandmother's house, one of her apartments for free, and charging me rent, and that's to your own kid, like And to him, he's like, "Oh, I'm teaching you responsibility," and it's like, whatever excuse you want to make to take money from your kid. Most people would put that money aside, and then when they turn 18, it's like, "Oh, here's a bunch of money. Here's all that money you gave me." Especially if they're not paying rent themselves. But he tricked me into thinking that I was helping with my little $120 Domino's check every week that I got. And it's just, I'd keep like $40 for myself and give him the rest because it's the right thing to do, you know. But when he's not paying rent, it's that's kind of disgusting to do to your own kid. Especially when his mom was letting him stay in the apartment for free. It's all good. I mean, it's again, I had to mature early, so it's good that I had that because I figured out young that it's all bogus. It's all about how you gonna scam your own kid, bro? Like, what is that? When your mother is footing the bill for you, you're gonna scam your kid. Wild. I don't know. And I'm glad I'm not religious because I would have to honor that, and I do in its own way honor my father because I do love my dad, and he would, I don't know. And what what he where he lacked wasn't his fault. It's because he grew up in a lot. He didn't have DCYF to fall back on when his dad was punching him in the head and that kind of shit. So you gotta take that into consideration. And then my mother wasn't around. She left when I was 4, but again, she had her own stuff that she was going through. Where her mother died when she was, I think, 11 or 12, and then her dad started, you know, doing the most horrible thing. So yeah, I don't blame my mother and I don't blame my father, but you gotta some people try to avoid reality, and I'm not one of those people. The reality of the situation is they were both shitty people, but I love them, you know. And to this day, if my mother called me and asked me for any kind of help, just to even go be there, I'd go be there with her. I mean, I wouldn't get within arm's reach because she got hands. But if she needed my help, I'd help her. I think she knows that. But again, I make people face realities that they try to avoid. So I am an undesirable, except for particularly grounded people. Military people like me the most, it seems, is in my experience. Military people think I'm funny because those people have seen the worst and been through it, and you learn to deal with all different kinds of personalities in the military, and so I think that's why military people like me. But I got a lot of hope for these younger generations because this generation Alpha is built different with their indifference, but determination also. Like there are the most of the people that are out in the streets right now are Gen Z and Gen Alpha. Like they're passionate, and I like to think that to, I helped culture that, you know, because if I haven't recorded all of the political actions I've been a part of, but I have uh from the George Floyd protests. I have a lot of footage from that because that was big and important. And I was involved in that in New York because that was one of the errors of my father's ways that I had to correct. Is my dad was incredibly racist and tried to raise me a racist too in the projects. That didn't work. And so when I was an adult, I made it a point to be anti-racist. When it before it was the cool thing to do, which it still isn't the cool thing to do, but it's becoming a lot more. It's the movement, anti-racism, anti-sexism is the movement right now, and the changes in society are palpable, and the because what they don't realize, the powers that be, the religious folks, the ruling class, they don't realize that that's pushed back, that's a war that they started, and so they don't like the fact that anyone exists differently than them, and they feel the need to control everyone else's shit, and they're like, oh, well, stop shoving the trans identity and genderism down our throats. And it's like, we're not. You did go into your little safe space, go to your church, go to your house. Nobody's gonna bother you there. It's where you want to institute laws to try to delete people or make them conform to your worldview is the problem, and it has always been the problem. You want to institute laws and weaponize law enforcement against people you deem as different, like with pot. For hundreds of years, pot's been illegal. If anybody who smokes pot is a degenerate, you know, it's it comes from the religious folks. That was a big thing that happened, was and I wasn't expecting it, the Supreme Court to reject the banning of gay marriage. I thought they would have jumped all over that, but they see what the reaction is to those kinds of things. They can't just slip it by us anymore. There's actual pushback, like physical, real consequences, and that's good. I have a lot of hope for these next upcoming generations, because it, when I was in high school, you were either future business leaders of America or the Gay Straight Alliance, or you were me and you made fun of both of them. But then, as I matured further, I realized one's a marginalized group and one's not. So I kind of stopped making fun of that particular group of people. And it's it's hard for me to recognize the idea of punching down because I've always felt like the lowest, the smallest person, the but I've come to realize that there are in fact oppressed and marginalized groups of people who aren't even allowed to, as I said earlier, to express themselves freely, which is supposed to be the first rule of this country that they forced me to pledge allegiance to on the daily, and it's supposed to be for all. But it's not. And then most of our tax dollars uh, you go towards cops and guns and bombs. to oppress us further. It's disgusting. And they're trying to ban public schools, and it's remember the lady, the not the mom, but she was a mom on Full House, and she got caught trying to bribe schools for her kid, and it's like she would have her kids are gonna be fine regardless. Why are you cheating on top of already dominating? Like, it's disgusting. And it's not that she was trying to bribe, she successfully was bribing people. And it's not like she invented it. She was just following suit with it's what they all do. And it's a known trope. You go watch any 80s, 90s movie that's remotely comedy based, it tells you the formula. Oh, you donate a building and then your kids get in. And the greediest, most vile people get the biggest rewards. And it's and I say that, and they think that I'm jealous or that I want what they have, and I don't want what they have at all. I actually want or need very little personally. Like, why do these people have multiple homes that each home could be three separate houses? Ugh, I don't know. But then that's a bad attitude to have, because the more I minimize myself, the more room they have to be greedy dickheads. And I know that, but I've already backed myself into a corner, so it's kind of hard for me. Plus, I don't feel right capitalizing and profiting. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't even feel good to barely exist, if I'm being completely honest. I'm testing something right now. I want to see what color this pops up as. Yeah, see, it's like nearly white, and a lot brighter on the screen than it is in real life. Yeah, I'm gonna cut this off. Thanks for joining me. Have a beautiful day. Catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. I love you. Bye.